Welcome. It turns out that the Zoom broadcasting is not as simple as we had thought in the beginning. And we're still kind of playing with the technology so that we can get a better quality sound, better quality picture. So it's going to improve, actually. So we've been talking to Zoom this week, and it turns out that they're keeping the quality of the picture fairly low, not HD, because they want to make it available to many people. So it could be when the virus goes down and people are able to go out, the whole quality will improve. And I've now done several broadcasts, and some of you I can see also have done several broadcasts with me. And everybody seems to find this is very intimate and gives us a very nice chance to meet in a kind of intensive way. I'm kind of coming into your house or your apartment, or maybe you're on the way somewhere with a smartphone. And I'm sitting in the open sky house. As you can see, we have some exhibition of paintings, and I'm sitting in one of the gallery rooms. I should explain that I've got quite a bad cough, but I don't think it's the virus. So you can't get the virus anyway through the online, so you're quite safe wherever you are. Anyway, okay. So let's just sit quietly for a moment or two, and then I'm going to do a guided meditation. Okay, so keeping your eyes closed, I'm going to ask you to look inside and bring your awareness to whatever is the strongest. So you may have some thoughts, you may have some feelings, there may be a body sensation, and it may just be quiet. So whatever it is, you bring your attention to that. Okay, so look again, and again come to bring your awareness to whatever is the strongest that's going on now. And don't try to change anything. And this time, allow yourself to fall deeper inside. Okay, so when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back into the room. So I think Om has told you how you can be unmuted so you can talk. Would somebody like to share what we just experienced? Is that Victoria?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, John
Hello.
David. Nice to meet you again, and hello to everybody. You just answered my question for today, because when I meditate in my room, I have so many thoughts going through my brain, and I didn't quite know what we talked about when you told us about Nisargadatta Maharaj and his meditating about the awareness, self-awareness. Whoops.
Right, right. So, for example, just now in this exercise, we were bringing our self-awareness to whatever was happening inside.
Yeah.
So, for example, you might have had a lot of thoughts, and so you bring your awareness to the thoughts.
Yeah.
You don't try to change them, you see.
Yeah.
This is rather a false spiritual idea that, you know, we don't want to have any thoughts. So if there is some thoughts, we have to kind of squeeze them away. But actually, that doesn't really work. So we accept whatever is there because we also know that in a few moments, maybe a few minutes, it will change.
Yeah. Because I made Vipassana meditation years ago, and there we were taught to keep our focus on some special points on our body, you know. And it was quite fine, but this, as you told us just now, let me fall much deeper.
Right.
And it's it's best. And you answered my question.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that, I mean, in this kind of Zoom broadcast, we have, you know, people who are just beginning their journey maybe, and we have other people who are just finishing their journey. So there's different requirements at different parts of the journey.
Yeah.
So Vipassana is very good in the beginning time when you have masses of thoughts. You can't hardly, it's like a torrent of thoughts. So then this is a technique to calm down this torrent of thoughts and to go towards a quiet mind. So this is a very good technique, maybe actually one of the very best meditation techniques for somebody who has a very busy mind. And if you carry on with that Vipassana later in your life, it may not actually, can you hear me actually?
Yes, yes,
okay.
I can.
Okay, I just got a little sign saying I was signed out. Okay, good.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So, wait a minute, I'm getting all kind of funny messages, just a second, okay. So, I mean, so it depends, you know. When I first began my journey, I did a lot of Vipassana meditation, and people offered different kinds of focus, you know. You can open your eye and focus on a candle, you close your eye and focus on some part of the body, maybe the breathing. So all these focus were very good when there was a lot of thoughts. But later, when we perhaps don't have so many thoughts, it's not really the best thing anymore.
I see.
And in a way, what we're trying to come to is we're coming to our most natural in the moment. So whatever is there in the moment, if we can completely accept it, it means we're actually present.
I see.
And nobody needs to judge if a thought is good or a thought is bad. So you accept the thought, and probably everybody experienced that if you accept the thoughts, after some time, they get maybe much less. Perhaps they go in the background, and in the foreground, there is a kind of space opens up. So we want to come to this space because this space is most likely to be our essence. So the idea at a more advanced level is to be whatever is going on, to be there, to be present. And actually, we don't need to do anything to be present because it's our nature to be present. And with little children, they very often easily are present.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we like to spend time with little children, or I like to spend anyway, is that it's delicious. They're deliciously present. Whatever they're doing, they're present. And unfortunately, as we get older, we start to get ideas, you know, like, oh, there shouldn't be so many thoughts, or whatever it is. This is not good, that is better. And so then we can't deal with all the thoughts anymore. We can't be present. And so it's interesting to always remember that we're trying to move towards our most natural inner space, if you like, just here now. And this is nothing extraordinary. You could even say it's rather unextraordinary, because this is our most natural way to live.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I know now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's very important, because unfortunately, for all kinds of reasons, human beings have tended to get the idea that they're not right, you know, something is wrong with me, you know, and therefore we're always having a very strong self-judgment against ourselves. But this is completely false, because we can only be who we are in any moment. So if we can accept who we are in any moment, then just naturally we will discover that we really can become present. We don't have to struggle, actually. It's not really a struggle. Okay, good.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, good. Somebody else like to share what happened?
Patricia?
Yeah.
Hört ihr mich?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. So I would talk in English too, yeah?
Okay. We have a German translator available.
I know.
So if you need help,
Okay.
Indira will help you. But
Yeah.
have we met before?
Yes.
Yes. When did we meet last?
Wait,
2 years ago?
check. No, 2015, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because the tears are back.
Yeah. It's a very good crying, though. You know, it's probably the best crying.
You told me, and yeah, in the last few months I've been crying and crying and crying, and it's okay. I think finally they start to flow without blaming myself. Oh, I start to stop blaming myself.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been on sick leave since last November.
Okay.
Diagnosis burnout, whatever that means.
Right.
Tiredness, anxiety, depression, something is always wrong.
Right.
And I keep practicing the self-acceptance you just talked about, also in the meditation, accepting, saying yes at every moment to what is there.
Right.
And I still don't know who I am and what to do in life, so I thought you might have an idea.
Yeah, I probably have lots of ideas. But tell me, when I met you 5 years ago, I met you 5 or 6 years ago, quite a long time ago.
Yes.
So what was your situation then? You didn't have any burnout. You weren't burnt out in those days.
No, obviously I still had some strength then to keep up something that doesn't really work. So that's how I feel. I think I mean, it started 2 or 3 years ago. You know, the body started to signal
Yeah.
mind, and
So, I mean, this message from your body, is a very important message, yeah, because somehow your body, mind, organism is saying to you, stop. I don't know what kind of life you have, but whatever it is, you have to stop because actually it's not the right thing for you somehow. There's something
Yes.
that's not really healthy. It's not really
Yes.
nourishing you.
Yes.
And for example, whatever it was that made you come onto the Zoom today, 5 years later. So in this 5 years, there must have been some kind of connection that's been there, maybe in the background. Maybe you forgot about me sometimes. Maybe you forgot about coming to your own essence. I don't know. But maybe the reason for your burnout is that something inside you, maybe the most important thing inside you, can't go on with a life that is not nourishing it.
Yes.
And so it's like the tears is like a huge cry for help, because somehow, you, like everybody, you've been indoctrinated from the time you went to school that you have to do this and you have to do that. And probably your daddy wanted you to be successful and marry the right man and live happily ever after, all this kind of things. So there's a lot of pressure we live as we grow up. And because everybody else is in the same situation, we don't necessarily see that this is not necessarily good for everybody. So
Yes.
maybe some people get married and they really do live happily ever after. Actually, I haven't yet met any, but I've met one. I think one, maybe one, but maybe two. One or two. But
I know a few too, but maybe one or two.
right. Anyway, so maybe there's a few, but the majority are living some kind of drama, which they were encouraged to live when they were growing up, that this was what their parents told them they should do in their life. And many people end up with a partner which is not maybe the right partner. And maybe the job, the situation in your life is not the right situation. It might be right for somebody else, but maybe it's not right for you, and so there's a lot of pressure that you can't kind of step off. And I would say for you, you have to see the possibility you need to step off. Anyway, if you're out of work because of burnout, that gives you a very good excuse. Burnout plus virus, I guess you can be out for some time,
Yes,
Yeah.
I can. Probably
Yeah.
for another year, something like this.
Right.
The insurance, is pushing because they want to get me off their
Yeah,
feet
exactly.
because they
They
have
want
to
to,
pay. Mhm.
yeah, they want to get you back on the same
Yeah.
situation that has actually caused you to be sick.
Exactly, as soon as possible. That they make this quite clear. Yes. And
So
now
isn't that a crazy thing?
It is. And whenever
Yeah.
I look at this, or I worked at school, there's one side in me who can clearly see from the outside on the madness that is going on,
Right.
and that I'm part of it. And sometimes I'm quite calm, and then there's this other force in me pulling me back into pressure, all this, not feeling that
It's for
the
many
right thing
people,
will
it
come
seems
up.
like there's no alternative. You see, there's no alternative.
Yeah.
Just what life has given you. I mean, are you a school teacher? You're a school teacher?
I'm an actress and a school teacher, and I've always
Mix the two.
worked in these two fields with different focuses, But for the
Right.
last few years, and you said what has changed from 2015, I think this holding up this school energy is I just can't do that anymore. I can't follow the school madness anymore, where everything that goes wrong in society is concentrated.
Right.
I just can't. It's also
So
an
maybe
ethical.
you have to move more into the acting. which may be not so easy to make a living, I don't know.
Exactly. I did this before, 10 years, a decade of acting as a freelance, and I had a crisis too. I was also exhausted.
Yeah, right.
So I can feel behind all this, I need to learn not to overtax myself all the time. That's what I keep doing. I adapt too much, you know, and
Right.
because yeah, there is this strong longing to find my thing and the strong longing to belong. And I feel in a way the more I become myself, the less I do belong, because people live different lives and I am and I know it's
Well,
normal.
it depends, you know. I mean, I've been living out of the society. I retired when I was 27 years old, and now I'm 75. So I don't know how much that is. That's quite a long time, 48 years. I live my own life day by day. Yeah. So I'm completely out of everything. And I'm aware that because I'm so out of everything, that I'm not so easy, you know, I'm not so easy to deal with, you know. So for example, I've got two little girls in my life, which is very lovely for me. And I take them to the kindergarten. And of course, the other parents probably find me a kind of strange parent, you know, because I'm more like the grandfather than the father. And then I don't speak German, I only speak English. And so, you know, I could feel like a black man coming to the kindergarten, you know, but actually I don't really care about that, because somehow having these little girls is my choice. You know, I had a conscious decision about that. And of course, I get a wonderful benefit from these little girls.
So are you the father? You are the actual father?
I'm the actual father, yeah, yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's some news.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened in your life for the last 5
well,
years?
Yeah, but you see, you never know when you're in a flow of life. You see, when I mean, I've had a number of relationships in my life. Yeah, I had a couple of marriages and so on. But in the recent years, you know, nothing in particular was happening. And then I got an invitation to go and give a meeting in Ukraine, you know, which is Russian speaking. And I never really planned to go to Ukraine because, of course, they had this power station story. Yeah. So I went to Ukraine, and immediately I met a very young woman. I won't tell you how young because she's really young. And she turned out to be an extraordinary person, because her father was also a Satsang teacher in Russia, not in the West, but in Russia. He was traveling, as I was, giving meetings. Yeah. So she had been brought up in a way which was quite different from most young people. And so when she came to my meeting, something inside her connected very strongly with the energy of the meeting, and then gradually also with me in a personal way. And so step by step, she left Ukraine, came to our community in Germany, and we became involved together. And after, I think it was 6 years, we decided to have some children. So this is a completely unbelievable story, you see. How would it be possible? But it was possible because existence had that planned. You know, I didn't plan to go to Ukraine. I got an email out of the blue sending me to Ukraine. I went to Ukraine, met this young woman. We had this very strong, deep connection. And now I have two little girls. Yeah. So that's not a normal way to live, of course, because I trust this inner guidance that took me, for example, to Ukraine. And then this inner guidance that took me to meet this young woman. And step by step, you know, we became involved, and step by step, we decided to have these children. It wasn't all good, but I won't tell you the not so good part now. It's never going to be completely good when an old guy gets involved with a young woman. So you know, it was also ended up not so good. But anyway, the fruit of this meeting was two very lovely little girls. Yeah. So this, of course, is somehow difficult. Well, it's going to be difficult for them, probably. Now they're in the kindergarten, but when they get into school, it can be even more difficult. So, you know, but I don't care about that, you see, because I trust that what happened, it was meant to happen. I wouldn't have had any way of not doing what I did, even though later there were some difficulties, actually. So, I mean, I think, you know, inherently for you to step off your situation, you have to come into a deeper connection with who you are and to follow your intuition inside you, which will guide you in every moment, you see.
Yeah, I would love that. You know, there were years where I had this, the inner guide, it was clear what I did. Right. Step by step, but at the moment I've lost that. I just don't know. There are a lot of talents I've got, and when I feel into them, I also feel it's not that I've lived a life completely off my talents in the last 10 or 20 years, but apparently it still has led me into this burnout. It can go on like this on every level, you know.
Right, right. Where do you live, actually?
In Berlin.
Berlin. Yeah.
Berlin, which isn't right anymore. I need to live in nature. I need to live in a smaller place. That's clear. That's crystal clear.
Right. I mean, what I could suggest is that, you know, we have a community of about 15 people living together in an old house. It's not completely in the nature, but we're on the bank of the Rhine, so you can walk along the Rhine. And you could come as a volunteer. For the first week, it's free, and then after that, you pay your food. And just being in the environment of people who have made this shift that, in a way, you're being invited to make. They've made this some years before, you know, so they already, you could say, are not all, but many of them are living in a much more natural flow than you can meet in the society. And I mean, it sounds like you have quite a lot of free time, so why didn't you come?
I did volunteering at your house also 3-4 years ago, and I could feel the energy. It was very touching. I could feel it. And I just decided I want to make it in society, in the marketplace. That was just maybe not a conscious, but I just did that way.
You had an idea, which somehow 5 years later has turned out not to be the right idea because it hasn't worked. Yeah. If it would have been the right idea, now 5-6 years later, you would be in a very nice flow, but you're not. So that idea probably was wrong, you see.
The thing was, I couldn't sleep at your place. It was too loud. I couldn't sleep in this big sleeping hall and all the planes. It was too loud. I nearly got a crisis because I had a big lack of sleep.
Right. Well, we have a much smaller, cozy sleeping place now. That lady, Victoria, who I was just talking to you, who is roughly your age, I think, she was just spending last weekend, you know, and probably you could also survive there. You know? So, I mean, everything is never perfect, you know. So maybe in your apartment, it's very, very quiet, so you can have a sleep, but then somehow it doesn't work for you, yeah? It's very difficult when you come to this burnout because actually it's a pretty, how can I say? It's a pretty serious situation, actually.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to the kind of burnout when your own system is saying no. Yes. I remember one day we had a woman come here and she told us that she'd been a dental nurse for many years. I can't remember, 20 or 30 years. She was taking the photographs of people's teeth. Yeah. Anyway, she told us that one day when she was dressing in the morning, her body refused to dress her. She couldn't put her clothes on. Yeah. And then she realized this job's finished. You know, I can't carry on with this job because my whole system is saying no to that. Yeah. Yeah. But that's a pretty serious kind of situation, because it means that, you know, for a long time, she was in a way forcing herself to do something for whatever reason. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you're welcome to come and see us.
Thank
You're
you.
probably not ready for a big step. Yeah. You're maybe only a little step, because on Tuesday I'm flying to Ukraine again, where we have a beautiful retreat center, and 2 weeks we have a retreat there together with 20 people. So if you were ready for a big step, I might encourage you to come there. But I guess you're not ready for a big step. Is that right?
So you'll be back from August on?
Yeah, I'll be here about the, yeah, after a week of August, about the 5th of August, I'm back, yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, you couldn't forget us in 6 years, so you have to look at that. Yeah.
Somehow, if I want it or not, you keep coming back.
Right, right, yeah. That's probably always the best situation, you know, when you don't quite like the teacher, but somehow you can't quite forget him. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Somebody else like to share something?
Silke?
Hello, John.
Hello.
Hi. I just put up my hand because I was very touched when you were speaking about how to trust your intuition, or how you had to trust your intuition in this situation with this young woman you spoke about.
Yeah.
And so that just touched me very deep, and I resonated to that. And in a way, I would like to know, how did you learn to trust your intuition on the spiritual path? Like, what was your, how can I, maybe because I'm asking, of course, in a way for myself, how can I learn to trust in my intuition?
Well, when you completely lose yourself, then it comes by itself. You see, when you say you or me, you have some kind of, I mean, depending on your family, depending on your culture, your job, your interests, you have some kind of structure which you live your life. Yeah? You have certain ideas, you should do that, you shouldn't do that, that's good, that's not good. So in that way, you go along through your life. Yeah. So I'm doing my life, you see. So I can also do trust, you see, but actually you can't. It doesn't work like that. So trust arises out of our natural self, our essence. So when you come to your own essence, when you really fall into your own essence, then part of the fruit of falling into your own essence is trusting. So I've now been trusting about 25 years, you know, and I do all kind of weird stuff, and sometimes it's not working out very well. You know, can you imagine getting involved with a young Russian woman? I mean, that wasn't going to work out so well in the end, you know. So, but nevertheless, you know, I lived actually 10 years now, because we're still friends. We don't have an intimate relationship anymore, but we're still friends because we have these 2 little girls. Yeah? So about 10 years now. But it's not easy, because I'm an old codger and she's a young, active woman. And most people would make a judgment and say we're completely incompatible. Yeah, probably we are. But that doesn't mean that we can't relate together, and we've been doing that. Yeah? So you have to trust what your own intuition is showing you, you know, where your steps in life are. They're not necessarily the steps that your father would tell you, or your best friend would tell you, or what everybody else is doing. You know, maybe yours is different. You know? I'm just starting to read a book about Einstein, and I was very touched because when he was in the kindergarten, he was completely against authority. So he didn't want to play the games in the kindergarten that the other kids were playing. He didn't really want to relate with the other kids. He wanted just to create a space where he could, you know, do what he wanted to do, basically. And this carried on when he was a teenager, when he started work. His basic approach to life was completely against authority and completely against to follow, you know, what the society was suggesting he should do. And he had his family background was Jewish, and I think Jewish families have a lot of kind of rules that you have to follow. And basically, he didn't follow any of this stuff, you see. And that created inside him a tremendous space, which was his creativity. And then, of course, we all know that he became a very important physicist. And more than just being a physicist, he was a very beautiful human being. He really cared for humanity, you can say. You know? So, but in the kindergarten, he wasn't really easy. You know?
Mm.
So you don't have to be easy. You know?
So what I understand from what you're saying is, or what I would pick out for myself is maybe that you just followed your kind of inputs, no matter of all odds, or like if I have a feeling to something, like maybe for you was this young lady where all the social surroundings would say you're the typical sugar daddy type or whatever projections you are faced with, then that in a way you trusted what was your feeling, where you had the most.
Well, actually, it wasn't really like that, you see, because you're talking from the position of being somebody.
Yeah, I understand.
So when I met this woman, I'd become a nobody, right? So, I mean, if what we're talking about is attractive for you, then actually the first thing is to become a nobody, to realize that you're not somebody. So this is like the most beautiful adventure you can do in your life, is to investigate who you are, you see. Because we all think we know who we are, but actually nobody knows who they are, almost. Yeah.
But
and
what I found, what I find in trying to, or in this process of maybe becoming a nobody, that when my ideas are not met, like my somebody ideas that where I think this should be like this or shouldn't be like that, then very strong energies come up in me, like for example anger or resentment, or and I find it very difficult to because that brings up strong energy, and it's like this can't be nothing, because all this energy is accumulated in myself, where I don't understand really how can this be that I have difficulties when things are not running the way I believe they should be running.
Everybody has difficulties. Everybody has difficulties when things aren't running as they should be, as they think they should be. You see? So to get very, very angry about some situation is actually brilliant, you see. Anger is very useful because, as you say, it's a very strong energy, so you can't kind of miss it, you know. So you get very, very angry. For example, you have a nice boyfriend and you go to a party, and then this blonde woman keeps on flirting with your boyfriend, and then you see how you're getting more and more angry about this. So okay, you can say, this blonde woman, why doesn't she stop flirting with my boyfriend? Or you can say, why am I getting so angry about this flirting with my boyfriend? You know, and then when you start looking at that, you can see, well, probably I'm very possessive of my boyfriend. I think he's my boyfriend. you see, and nobody's my boyfriend actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start looking that actually you have issues inside where maybe you have to change them, you know, because if you want to move to living in freedom, you can't hold on to ideas of possessiveness. Yeah. So that process is one part of the spiritual work that I was just describing, that you need to look at the various conditionings that have happened in your life. So actually, it's very useful to get angry, or the other lady was getting a lot of tears. You know, if you get a lot of tears, that's actually very beautiful, because that means that deep down inside you, your being is very, very pissed off with you, actually, because you're allowing the body-mind part of you, the sort of everyday part of you, you're allowing this part to force something deep, a deeper part of you, forcing this part to do something it doesn't want to do, and then it cries. You know, there's a tremendous breakdown, you can say, right? Mm. So these strong emotions, like a lot of crying or anger, they're very useful, because they can make you say, aha, now I need to look at this. Why am I getting so angry?
I understand, yeah. It's not always easy to be aware and not be the anger. Step out.
No, it's not always easy. But
afterwards,
with something,
yes, but in
that's
in
okay.
the situation.
In the beginning, you can do it afterwards, you know. So last night I got so angry with this blonde woman. Why did I get so angry? Because actually nothing happened, and your boyfriend went home with you and everything was fine. So then you can ask yourself, well, I seem to be very possessive. You know?
So it's all about being in that nothingness, or really letting, in a way, being in the gap, or
yeah, you can say it like that. Yeah. And then at a certain point in your life, when you're really living your life in what you're calling the gap, you will find that you trust what's happening in the gap. You know, you'll trust your life that's flowing from moment to moment in the gap. It's very difficult, you see. Unfortunately, all human beings are tremendously conditioned by our upbringing. Yeah? We think that, you know, it's only me that gets angry when my boyfriend flirts with a girl, but actually everybody gets angry when their boyfriend flirts with a girl. You know, it's like we've all conditioned that that's not really okay. Yeah.
So in a way, you really need surroundings to correct all these funny ideas.
You need somebody like me who points them out to you. You know? So now, for example, next time you get angry, maybe you'll remember our talk and you will investigate what's behind the anger. Yeah. So having a teacher on the outside is very useful, because he can guide you to, you know, to look at things like that. So I think I didn't meet you before, did I?
No, we've never met.
Right. So now I'm starting these meetings every 2 weeks. So if you want, we can get to know each other over some time.
Nice. Yeah. I know you from, I was born as a sannyas child.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was 6 years old, and I know about your investigations with all the different teachers, and that's how, in a way, I know you from a little bit further.
Did you spend time with Osho in his ashram in India?
No, I didn't. I was in Munich, living and in different varieties of communities as a child, and I was nearly about to go to Koswan, but then we moved to Australia. But I know all the Koswani kids anyway. I got to know them later.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, you probably, in fact, have got already. You're moved in a certain direction. You're probably not a typical society girl. Yeah. You're probably living a bit differently.
Well, for me, it was upside down because I grew up in this way, in this kind of wide open space, and had not very much borders in my childhood. So but still through school and all of that, I had to face up with a lot of borders in society.
Sure,
And
sure.
so I didn't get it in my upbringing, but later on from the society or different kind of situations.
Yeah.
And so I decided to very much, I wanted to go into the society, and I did very strict jobs and very all this kind of, and so I worked my way through society the
See
last.
how strong this society thing is, yeah? So if
Yeah.
you want to be successful, then you almost have to go and be successful in the society. For example, I'm the most unsuccessful person. You know, I haven't had a proper job since 27 years old, you know? So I'm protected by the guys in my community, you know, they kind of look after me with normal society stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
But I can't deal with that, you know, I can't deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. You know?
Yes, I've got to know now how sick it makes, how exhausting and it's so packed and it's very quite tough to, if you want to work in society and do a normal job, and it's really
Right, of
sickening,
course.
but in a
I
way.
mean, I don't know whether you've read something from Osho, because he's quite brilliant about children and education, you know. And you know, he was very strong with the idea that children should be given a kind of protective border around them, so they can't hurt themselves or get sick or something, yeah. And that they need to eat and they need to sleep, those kind of basic things, yeah. But otherwise, they should have a lot of freedom. And there was a time when I was at the Oregon ranch, and I got the job to feed the children. So, you know, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, a bus would arrive, and this huge kind of flow of little kids would rush towards me, and I would have to put the food on their plates. Yeah, this was such a lesson, because if I dared to put the peas touching the potatoes, they might get completely pissed off with me and throw their food back at me, you know. So I had to learn to ask them, is it okay if I put your potatoes here and your peas over there? Would that be okay for you? And would you like, you know, and it was very good lesson for me, because in those days I had some, maybe some authority ideas, you know, that you don't ask children those kind of things, you just give them the food, you know. But I discovered you can't just give them the food, because they could get really, really mad, because they really cared where their potatoes were and that they weren't touching the peas. And what's wrong with respecting that, you know? The other day I made a cracker for one of my little girls. She wanted to have jam, you know? So I put some strawberry jam. I put it quite thick, thinking, oh, she'll like it thick because she likes this jam. And when I gave it to her, she started crying and said, too much jam, you see. So I should have asked her, you know, how do you want the jam on your cracker, you see. So when you think about that level of caring, most of us never got it as we grew up, you see. We never got that. We were never really respected for who we were, you see. And so as we become adults, it's kind of too late by then, because we don't even know maybe how much jam we want on our cracker. So I thought my Russian lady was going to be my last teacher in this life, but I was wrong, because these two little girls are going to be my last teacher, you see.
Yeah, I understand. Very nice talking to you.
Okay, where do you live? In Australia?
No, I live in the Schwarzwald
Okay.
yeah, so near Freiburg in the mountains.
Oh, nice. We started our community in Wandsworth.
Where?
Wandswortingen, near the Swiss border,
Yeah.
in the south of the forest. I mean, we
Nice.
started there in a small village. Yeah. Yeah. Nice place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I like it. My dad lives in Australia. I grew up there for 4 years in my childhood, so.
Right.
But I came back to my mom when I was 12,
Right. Right.
Germany.
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, maybe we get to know each other through Zoom. You see, because
Yeah.
maybe you can see we had quite a nice meeting, even though you're living in the south of Germany and you know, it's a long way away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you very much for the time.
Okay. Okay. Somebody else like to have a dialogue?
Hello.
I was just
Hi.
thinking actually that maybe you can become one of those couples, you know, one of those rare couples.
Hmm. Yeah. Today I'm a little bit excited or mixed up inside
Okay.
because I just met my sister before our meeting here,
Right.
and we had a spare moment alone without the kids.
Right. Right.
And she asked me a lot of questions about you and the community and what I'm doing there. And
Right.
it was like an inquisition.
Right.
I didn't feel very well.
Right. Right.
And
Did she want to prove to you that it was a dangerous game you're playing with me, or was she interested for herself?
I think she was rather suspicious.
Right. Yeah.
She asked where you get your money from and if I pay a lot of money. And
Ah, right. Right. Do we have sex? Probably another question.
no.
I'm so old that probably she doesn't think about that.
And she heard from my girls that you have the birds in the cages.
Okay, right.
And she
right.
said she can't understand why somebody who says he's free and he lives love, why he takes the birds into the cages and they are not free, and it doesn't fit for her. So.
You see, it's very interesting how people's minds work, yeah? Because as you know, in our courtyard, we have, I think it's 3 pheasants who walk around completely free. And pheasants are the kind of birds which normally you never see them. They're always hiding in the bushes. And they're completely relaxed with us and they're happily walking around, and you can even feed them with your hand, yeah? And now we just got rid of our peacocks, but we had 4 peacocks also just walking around, you know, free, completely free. But with little birds, which actually are not used to the German climate, they would die if we let them out into the environment. Actually, they're not prepared for you know, the German climate. I don't think these kind of birds you ever see flying around. So we've got these budgerigars, and we've got some little colorful, very colorful little birds, a bit like small parrots. And they have a big space in which to fly around. And I don't know how happy they are, of course, but they appear to be happy because they twitter away all day long. They're constantly making nests and falling in love with each other. They're even called lovebirds, actually, the colorful one. And I don't know the alternative, actually. If you want to have small birds, I don't know how else you can do it, actually. So, I mean, your sister can pull something like that. Oh, it's really terrible. He talks about freedom and he's got these birds in a cage. Yeah? this is how the mind works. You know, it picks on one little thing, and this is somehow an answer for everything. Because of course, basically, probably she's absolutely shit scared of love. She's shit scared of coming to know herself. And so whatever she can do to hold that away from her, she will do it, yeah? And so her mind comes out with ideas like, you know, he's got these birds in a cage, and where does he get his money from, and so on, yeah?
Yeah.
Where did she get her money from? And I'm not asking her. So, I mean, people have ideas, yeah, about teachers like me. They have ideas about taking everybody's money, having sex with everybody, and all kind of stuff. They have ideas. And you can't do anything about that because this is how people protect themselves. When Osho was a very famous teacher or master, about what, 30 years ago, I think it was, in Germany, he got an enormous publicity. And this publicity was all very against him, actually. It was very negative publicity. He was accused of being a sex guru. Probably he was also accused of taking everybody's money, and so on and so on. Yeah. But actually, even this negative publicity, in the end, brought many people to come there. So there were many German students coming there. So some people are intelligent enough to see through the nonsense, yeah. But not everybody. Not everybody.
I found it very interesting that it like that something inside me reacted so much to her questions, and I felt very stressed.
Right. Well, she might be right.
And
you have to inquire, you know. I mean, it's also a nice moment that she comes and asks you these things, because it makes you also kind of investigate, yeah, for yourself.
And I just said I can't give you any logical answers to your questions. I just can tell you that I relate it to my feelings, and I feel good when I'm there, and I feel better afterwards. And so,
well, you don't feel good when you're here. You feel immense love when you're here,
yeah.
But you don't feel love for John David personally. You know, you're not about to leave this lovely Vishnu and come and live with John David. It's not that personal love, but when you're here, there is actually an environment in our house where there's a lot of love. So you come into your own love actually when you're here.
Yeah.
And so the best thing you can possibly say to your sister, why don't you come with me and check it out for yourself, you see? But probably she's not going to do that, because she'd rather hide behind all her judgments.
Yeah, her husband would like kill me.
Divorce her or something. Yeah.
When I told her about India, she said, "Oh, next time I would like to come with you."
Right.
But my husband wouldn't like it, so yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, this is unfortunate, yeah, that many relationships kind of imprison each other.
Yeah.
That's why you have the possibility that your relationship can be a healthy one, yeah? Because Vishnu is also interested in what you're interested in, or you're interested in what he's interested in. So, I mean, having this common interest makes everything work much easier than in a normal relationship, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're coming to Denya at the end of August, yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For 1 week.
Are you still there for the rebirthing?
We have to leave on Saturday, so in the middle of that's very bad.
You can't leave on Sunday night?
We didn't get a flight.
Maybe you should try to get a flight, maybe, I don't know. The flights are very much in flux at the moment, yeah, because of the virus. So maybe by September there'll be more flights, because it's a very beautiful weekend, actually, this rebirthing weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe if the kids are with us, I cannot concentrate on the rebirthing workshop so very well, and I have to care for the kids too. So.
Well, we can take care of the kids, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids will also be there.
They can take care of my kids.
And I think Durga's also planning to come. Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked about childcare yet, but we'll arrange something.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. But for example, what you experienced happening on, I can't remember, Saturday or Sunday in this weekend, last weekend, yeah? I mean, that's completely to do with you, you know, this enormous kind of opening into love that happened. This is completely you, because you had the courage to be available. Yeah? You had the courage to just be there and accept what happened to you. And what was happening to you was a big opening inside you. And somehow there was enough trust. You've got the support of the circle of people around. You've got my support also. And you could just accept what was happening to you. And then there was a big opening. Yeah? And this is actually love. This is an opening to your essential love. There's nothing about I love you or you love somebody. It's just an unconditional love, which is somehow what everybody could potentially live. We could all live in this unconditional love space. Anyway, I mean, probably when you start coming back and, you know, looking very good, having a nice shiny skin and smiling a lot, probably your sister will get more interested. You know?
Yeah, I think she is interested because she asked me all those questions.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, somebody else want to talk? Are you there, Om? I think Madhu wants to talk.
Okay, 1 second.
You muted her, I think. Okay. Hello.
Hello, John David.
Are you sitting amongst lots of bat boxes?
No, this is my last room. It's for the party, for the last parties in house.
For the last party. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the parties online.
Online party.
Yeah, with my family.
With your family.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're looking quite good again.
Eh?
You look rather good. You're smiling a lot. Are you feeling good inside?
Today and yesterday, yes, but 2 days ago, no. I don't know. Maybe it's the situation also, and always affect me the moon. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yesterday and today is better. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, your life has been changing for the last two or 3 years, yeah?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
I mean, you wanted kind of what your mind didn't really want to change, but somehow existence wanted you to change.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And the change creates a certain fear inside you, I think, yeah? So one day maybe you feel open and you're in a flow and you're ready for this change in your life. And then on the other side, on another day, your mind comes and says, you know, what about this? What about that? What about the future? And then fear holds you. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. But
Yeah.
it's normal. No, I think it's normal. Things about that.
It's completely normal, but it's not normal if you if you surrender to what your mind is saying. then nothing can change. Yeah?
Yes,
If
I
the
know.
fear is too strong, then nothing really can change.
Yes, I know. I know that, but sometimes it's the mind is the same, no? It's
Yeah, yeah.
the unconscious, no? It's coming. And now I observe, but 2 days ago is I attack nervous because it's not have a time for the move all, not have a time for where put my things, where this is the situation, no? And it's normal.
Yeah. You can just pack them up in boxes, and then you'll find in the internet, you'll find a storage place on the edge of Madrid, and you put them in a taxi and take them. It's not so, it's not
Yes,
really
yes.
difficult, you know. What's
No, no.
difficult is the emotional, the feelings you have about all those things, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
have also lots of stuff stored here, you know.
Yes, but all is complicated 2 days ago because all the transport for the move of the boxes is occupied and difficult to find. And in the last moment, I found it, no, and say and found all, no, but it's okay. And then I say, okay, I surrendered, I accept. Is
Right.
tomorrow if not finished? Okay, go with many
Sure.
things. Yeah.
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 But I'm sure you can find, can you drive?
Yes, I drive, but in this moment,
You can rent a little van and put everything in the back. And maybe you can rent a nice guy that lives around where you live. You rent him for the day to help you. And he'll carry all the boxes.
yes, now I found different different people for help me or for the transport. No, now it's okay. Now it's
Right.
planified. No,
I can tell you a big secret if you like, because I've lived in many different countries. It always works out. This is one of the beautiful things about life. It always works out. So there may be troubles and problems and blah, 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 but it always works out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
You know it, but you get caught up in it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I accept that. It's accept the life is changed now, and I flow.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But in this moment, is I like this is because it's my family. Give me your apoyo. What is in English? Apoyo, support. No?
Support. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
If you call,
I found this a good friends, no, like you, like a community, like a friends here, no, is very lovely, no.
Right. Right. Yeah. These moments of change, often new things happen in your life. You know, you probably get this nice young man to help you with your boxes, then you'll fall in love with him and end up with 5 children together.
No, I have boyfriend, only in quarantine, and then bye.
Ah, in quarantine. Okay.
Only.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can call Indira. She's happy to help you, I think.
Okay.
And also Radha. You know Radha quite well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's managing the house in Denya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I respond your emails.
You have to remember you're a very sophisticated Peruvian lady. Yeah. Sorry, was it Argentina or Peru? I can't remember. Peruvian. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So you're coming from a very old family with lots of ideas, you know, about how life should be, and that's not always easy.
I don't
You
understand.
understand?
No, I don't
You don't
understand.
understand?
No.
Well, you're a very elegant, sophisticated, high educated lady, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's okay. It's
yeah.
okay. You know, it's okay.
Yes. Yes, I have a good education in general, no? The,
Yeah,
you know,
you have a
yeah.
good education, you're intelligent, and you're an attractive woman, and so on. So,
Complete
you're
woman.
a complete woman. Yeah,
No.
you're definitely not a boy, anyway.
No, no boy, but I'm special for the boys.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of boys
because
you
always
attract.
I always I say my opinion. No, never I say "Shh," never. I say
Right.
always the truth. No, that I think in this moment.
Okay, so the
Honest.
boys get a bit pissed off with you, do they?
Yeah, complicated with me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's very good, you know. Then you follow your opinion, you know. You follow your inner idea. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I prefer say honest always. No,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay.
I happy to stay to alone and uh, uh, with a boy. No, it's the same for me. I happy in both situations.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll see you soon if you find
Okay,
somewhere for your
thank you.
boxes.
Thank you.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe one more dialogue if somebody else wants to. We seem to have lost our. Oh no, there he is. Our Norwegian Viking guy is there. I see him in the garden. Hello.
Hey.
Are you still in the countryside or just at the weekend?
Yeah, I just came back here yesterday, actually.
Okay. So
Because,
you're.
yeah, because like I think last week I was supposed to go to Open Sky,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I couldn't make it because the travel restrictions.
Right. Right.
So that was kind of a strange feeling, and I was also moving out to my apartment, so I felt like kind of like a homeless person for some time. So I packed like my backpack and went trekking in the woods and sleeping in the hammock for some time.
Good.
So
Wow.
it ended up actually being very, very nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting you're doing that at the same time your friend Madhu is leaving her apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, we have
Maybe
some kind of connection, I guess.
maybe you can encourage her to go hiking in the forest.
Yeah, she said she's coming to Norway in August, so
Oh,
we'll
yeah?
see. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I managed to rebook my flight, so I'm coming to Open Sky in the beginning of like August 6th, I think.
August 6th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. We haven't
So
got a weekend then, have we? You're just
no,
coming to spend some time.
yeah, I just had to. I mean, I got the opportunity to rebook my flight for no
Ah,
extra
okay.
charge, and then I just looked when you were back from Ukraine. So
Yeah, right, right.
yeah.
Good. Okay.
And now I'm on summer vacation, so it's just very quiet and relaxed, and I just do whatever I feel like doing. So it's yeah,
Right,
nice.
right, right. So it seems that your school teaching works very well for you. I was talking to somebody in the beginning who was not doing so well as a school teacher, but in your case, it seems to be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I can also relate to her experience because it can be tough in the way that she mentioned that sort of like the problems of society, you really see them reflected in the children and the youth in the school, and it's really full on. So it's tough. But yeah, I mean, it's also a really good opportunity to help people and yeah, it also, I mean, it helps yourself when you can help others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Good. Well, if you can stay longer, we've got our retreat down in Denia again at the end of August.
Yeah.
Sunny weather, good swimming pool.
Yeah, it's an amazing place.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you got a very nice chair. Is that a furry bear from the?
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's my
They
mom.
still-
It's my mom's, I guess.
They still
Yeah.
run around in Norway, do they? You can shoot them and put them on a chair.
Hmm?
Is it a real bear or made out of synthetic?
No, I
Synthetic
think
bear or
it's I think it's from sheep.
sheep? Ah, okay. All right. Otherwise, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So very nice. See you in the beginning of August. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it for today. I think most of you would have got information about the 2 retreats. So on Tuesday, I'm flying to Ukraine for 3 weeks. And this is not so easy, actually, because when I come back, I have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. But that's not so hard either, because anyway, I spend my life in the open sky house. So whether I'm in quarantine or not in quarantine doesn't make a lot of difference. And then at the end of August, my quarantine will finish, and then I'm going to Denia, and we have a retreat in Denia for 2 weeks. So there were 1 or 2 people in the beginning of the meeting that maybe could benefit a lot from that retreat, because it's very high energy there. It's a very beautiful garden, beautiful old house, a few minutes from the Mediterranean. And I think anybody who spent time there has found it really opens them up. You can really trust there. You can really open the energy there. So if you're interested, you probably have got the information, but if you haven't got it, you could send an email to our office and then we'll send it to you. Okay, good. Nice to meet 2 or 3 new people today. I see Marco has just arrived. He spent his last weekend here. He's got a similar Russian lady story to my story. He's got also 2 kids from a Russian lady, and we haven't really sat down and compared notes, yeah? But probably...
No, we haven't yet. Perhaps we should one day.
Yeah, probably we should, yeah. Anyway, are you okay?
Yes. I just joined a bit later because I was out with kids.
Right.
But still I managed to connect, which is good.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
happy to be also
Do you
present.
find your kids are good teachers for you?
Yes, I think they are good teachers. Though at the moment I'm a bit in a situation of sort of stressed, a bit overwhelmed by all things happening, and so I had the impression that sometimes I am not able to catch that and to really make it my own. But something interesting which you mentioned today in relation to that. Just today I got an email that there is a new book by Osho. I mean, I guess this is issued by the company or the organization, the foundation running the Osho business. It's called The Book of Children.
Right.
And it is exactly about what we were talking about, like supporting the freedom and intelligence of a new generation, meaning, let's say, how to help kids or bring up kids so that they are not conditioned and so on. So I just bought an ebook about that because I wanted to read a bit more about that, because I had the impression that I'm not able, I had the impression sometimes that I'm conditioning them in the same way as I've been conditioned myself by my parents.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not so easy. I mean, it's not so easy because to remember, you know, I was, maybe you didn't hear me, but I was telling when I was with Osho that I got the job to give the food to the kids, you know, they came with a plate and I must put potatoes and peas and some meat or something on their plate. And some of the kids were so particular that if I put it in a way they didn't like, you know, maybe too much space or touching each other. I mean, one kid wanted them touching, another kid wanted a lot of space. And if I didn't have the respect to ask them, you know, I got in the end, you know, I would put the potatoes and then I'd say, well, where do you want the peas, you know? That was a really strong learning for me. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, let's say, and okay, this is the conditioning given by me as a parent, but also it is in the framework of society. So sometimes the two things mingle, and then it's difficult to, you know, make them apart. I realize that this is happening somehow, and that's why I wanted to read some ideas in this book.
Yeah.
To help me.
I wish our community was a little bit bigger, because I would love to make a school, you know, in the community.
Yes.
So that, you know, but it's not so easy to do that, I think.
No, yes.
But that would be one dream. And the other dream is to find a way that they don't go to school, you know. But I'm told that I'll end up in prison if I do that. So that may not be so much fun.
Yes. In the past, I'd looked if there were alternative kind of schools.
Yeah.
But there are very few, I think. And some of them are like in the US or some in India.
Right. There's one in England, actually.
In England as well, okay.
There's a famous one in England, actually. It's called Summerhill. Right. I don't know if it still continues. I don't know, but...
Is it one with a Buddhist background?
I don't think it had a particularly Buddhist background, no.
Right.
There was the man who ran the school for many years was called A.S. Neal. And he set up the school in a way that when something had to be decided, there would be a meeting of all the children and all the teachers together, and they would discuss it together. And so the children could express their idea.
Right.
So unfortunately, of course, that's very nice. That's a very nice idea, but it leads to some chaos, I think. So, and also, unfortunately, it was a private school. You had to pay to go to that school, yeah? So unfortunately, they were like the last place for rich parents to send their neurotic children, you know? Because if you had the money, you know, you could put your kids in that school. So they ended up with a lot of, you know, disturbed children, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay, good to talk to you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao.
So we meet again in 2 weeks. I'll be in Ukraine then, the next meeting. Okay.